Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to model up a serving tray using two different types of timber. We're going to make the two ends out of radiator pine and the two sides out of Meranti. We're going to be using Fusion 360 to do this. So let's jump on board and get going. So I've opened up Fusion 360. We are just greeted with a blank space page at the moment. So first thing I want to do is to go to the file icon, go down to save before we've even done anything, and label this. Now I've already got one in here, so I'm just going to go V2 just to version 2. And my location, I've set a folder up into my data panel. That's another way of another video that we will need to do to talk about how to set up the file structures. But essentially, create a folder and click that and hit save. So now that I've got my serving tray, you can see that the first part of my file structure there is listed as serving tray. At the moment, that's a single component. We're going to build all of our components in this same file structure. So what will happen when we create the first component, this will change into like an assembly icon that you might be familiar with in Autodesk Inventor. So we're going to go to create. We're going to go new component. This window will pop up. So let's label our new component and we're going to go end of tray, that'll do. We haven't got it from any bodies. There's no parent, or there's one selected, which is our main serving tray. That's the parent. And then we can just go OK. And you can see now that the icon has changed for the serving tray. We now have like the three little cubes stacked together. And we've got an end of tray which has come up. It's also the active component. You can tell that by the little dot here at the end, the one that's serving tray at the top. There's no little black dot in the middle. So this is the active component. This is the one that we're working on. So whilst that is selected, we're going to create a new sketch. We're going to select the XZ plane. That is the one on the front here, or the front view if you're looking at the little cube up the top corner. So I'm going to swing that around and we're greeted with a view like that. You should sort of see that graph, square grid lines that are on there. It also now brings up the sketch tools that we've got to work with. We're going to get a 2-point rectangle here, and we're just going to click from the red line anywhere over here, and we're going to drag across. As you drag it across, you'll see the two dimensions that are there for the height and for the width. We can automatically put those in as we're drawing that, so I'm going to do that in a second. The width is 350 millimeters and the height is 70. So the height is selected now. You can see that in blue. So I'm going to change that to 70 and then press tab on my keyboard. And you'll see it jumps to the other dimension box. And this box I want to type in 350. Once I've done that and both of those dimensions are correct, I can press enter on the keyboard. If you've already just done the rectangle and you forgot to do that step, or you missed it or whatever, you can use the dimension tool to apply the dimensions afterwards. So don't panic about that. We can fix that up. I'm actually going to center this on the page a little bit. So I'll show you how to use the dimension tool. And it'll be the same process for if you missed that previous step. So you can go to create. Sketch dimension is down the bottom. You can apply the keyboard shortcut of the capital letter D or D. Or if you've got it at the top there, you can get it like that. So get your sketch dimension. I'm going to click on the edge of my rectangle. And if I was to click on it, you can see that it gives me the height. I would drag out. If I was to click again, I'd be able to edit the height there. What I'm wanting to do is click on the origin point in the middle and just drag my mouse down. And so I want to put this halfway in the middle. So what I'm going to do is click on this 350. Which is dimension 1. That was the first one we did. And I'm just going to press the divide side by 2 and press enter. And it automatically does it all for me. So you can see that we've now got everything all lined up with that. Okay, once we've got that lined up, we are going to go finish sketch. We're going to extrude our shape. So I'm going to click on that. And if I turn it around, it'll be easier to sort of see. So select your profile. Type in 12 millimeters because that's how thick we're going to do it, and go OK. So effectively, there is our shape that we're going to be working with. What we're going to do now is go back and we're going to create a sketch on that front face. And we're going to basically draw diagonal lines. We'll do this bit first. From there to the top edge. And from there to the top edge. And we need to apply some dimensions to that. So the dimension from that bottom edge to that point there is 40 millimeters. So type in 40. Do the same on the other end. And then the distance that we want a length of our lines from that point to that point. Now make sure that you get that as not on the angle like that. Hold the mouse straight up and down like that. And we want that to be 100 millimeters. Do the same on the other side. And then we're going to fill that triangle in. So we want to go up from that to the point, from that point to that point, and you'll see that we get that. Do the same on the opposite sides. So we get 2 of those. Hit finish sketch. This time we're going to do an extrusion and we're going to select those 2 triangles. And we're going to do -12, which does it as a operation as a cut. So extrusion can either add to a shape or it can take away from the shape. This time we're going to do it as a cut. Go OK. Okay, back to create sketch. Go to that front face again. This time we're going to draw a slot in there. So go to the create menu, scroll down till you find slot, and we want center to center slot. And we're going to rough this in to start with, and then we'll constrain it in a minute. So we want the 2 points between those 2 to be 100 millimeters. So you can type in 100. And degrees is okay. So we want it at 0 degrees. Enter that. And then once you've done that, once you start pulling your mouse up, you'll see that you get the height of that. And we want that to be 20. So we get this nice rounded sort of slot in there. We need to center that. So we know that we did that as 100 across there. So we're going to go from that dot to our origin. And we want that to be 50. It's half of 100. Okay, we also need to work out how high it is. And from this top edge to the top edge of that, if we bring that outside, it needs to be 25. And we're good to go. So press enter. And now we're going to go finish sketch. Again with the extrude, select your shape there, -12. And we've got that one there. You can, if you wanted to do, you can apply a fillet to this. So if you go to modify, fillet, you can select that loop around that side and the loop around that side together. And if you put a fillet of about 6 mils in there, or you might be able to do 12, no, 6 mils, let's go with 6. Can't remember what size I did my fillet. Yeah, no, 6 mils, let's go with that. Go OK. And then we're going to do the last little step is to draw, because we're going to put finger joints on this. We're going to draw the finger joints on the ends of that. So again with the sketch, create sketch, click on the face. Now I'm going to show you a different way of doing it this time. So we're going to basically create a rectangle, and you can see that our geometry is not aligned to our origin. So what I'm going to quickly do is, I think we can snap this. Let's have a look at that. No, I want to go linear, is it? That. No. Why won't that work? Yeah. Okay, let's not worry about that for the time being. Okay. Let's grab our rectangle tool from the corner of our block. We want this to come in 12 millimeters. Whoops. 8 millimeters that way. What have we done? not 18. So we need 12 there, tab by 8. Okay, press enter. So you're going to end up with a little rectangle like that. And then we're going to repeat that process again. So we're actually going to come up and we're going to draw another one that's there. So it's going to be 8 by 12. And we're going to do one more. 8 by 12. So you should get 3 of them like that. Get the dimension tool, make sure that there is 8mm gap between each of those. So between that dot there to that dot there should be 8. Between this one here and this one here should be 8. And that should leave that top point lining up very close to where we had the other one there. So that is good. Okay, once we've got all of that, hit finish sketch, and you see that we've got these 3 rectangles there. We're going to extrude each of those 3 rectangles, so they're going to be -12, which makes us a cut, and we'll end up with a shape that looks like that. Okay, you can either repeat that same process from one end to the other, or something else that you can do is if you go to turn your origin tick back on, so make that visible again, and then you go up to modify and you go to mirror, might be in under create, sorry, mirror. We want to select not the bodies but features. Select the last extrusion that we just did. The mirror plane becomes the ZY plane. You should be able to grab it from the back there, and you can see it does the sketch down the other end. Hit OK, and there you have your first part, or your end part. Now, at the moment, it's just a generic grey colour. To change that into pine, we go cross right click on where it says end of tray, go down to physical material, and a little menu should pop up. Go down to wood, scroll through the list of woods that you've got, and select pine, and drag that across onto your object. Hit close, and then hit save. That is the first end of tray. That's the only one you need to do, because then we're going to mirror that up the other end. So once you've done that, you've done well. See you in the next video to do the side of the tray.